give the floor to the distinguished representative of the Russian Federation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today, indeed, the situation is not simple at all. We gathered here together in order to discuss a matter that is of concern not only for individual delegations, but it is pertinent for each and every one of us. I would like to express my gratitude for what you announced, namely that the Bureau and you personally have paid a great deal of attention to trying to settle this matter over the past week. We are also grateful to the President of the General Assembly. However, as we've seen from the Iranian delegation statement, the Iranian delegation cannot confirm that the issue has been solved and that the visas have been issued. And the same is true, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Russian Federation delegation. The Russian delegation has not received 18 visas, and no visas were issued over the past week at all. As regards the work of the Sixth Committee in particular, the interpreter was not given, or the interpreter or the translator was not given a visa who was to translate the statement of the Russian Federation. So all of our statements are going to have to be disseminated just in English because the translator was not given a visa. In Russian, rather. They're all going to have to be disseminated in Russian. I would just like to draw your attention to the fact that there is the ongoing situation of the illicit possession or taking of our property. And that situation is an obvious one for all. We, as our Syrian colleague said, are not asking for any particular advantages here or special treatment. We are just asking for the host country government carry out its duties properly under the international treaty that it concluded as the host country with the United Nations organization. We are all members of the United Nations, and we should all be unified in ensuring that that treaty be upheld and respected. Once again, I'd like to draw your attention to what I understood from the Iranian delegation statement. Iran is not prepared to support, sir, your proposal. That is how I understood what was said. So in other words, the proposal to approve the program of work fully has not been supported by one of the delegations. I do know that the delegation of Iran put forward a constructive proposal. We are in a situation, and we find ourselves in a situation where we do not have consensus. And this is a first for the Sixth Committee. For the first time in many years now, the Sixth Committee is facing a dilemma, and we have a difficult choice facing us. Do we continue to put the matter to a vote, or do we continue consultations on this particular matter? The delegation of Iran has demonstrated as much of a constructive approach as possible. And in the same way, the Russian Federation is prepared to compromise and to be constructive in its proposal. Moreover, as I understand it, all delegations want our committee to ensure that any decision be taken by consensus. The distinguished representative of the US just concluded her statement by saying that there's a need to take decisions by consensus. And that is what she said right at the end of her statement. Those were her final words. And the statement that she made a week ago, the US delegate also put forward the same idea, namely that the committee needs to move forward and take all of its decisions by using consensus. Unfortunately, we do not enjoy consensus at the moment, and we are facing the serious risk of violating that golden rule for the Sixth Committee, and that is something that we really do not want at all. So I think perhaps we need to think about how to deal with this situation. It is possible that we could possibly find compromise. We still do have some time. Many delegations are banking on the fact that tomorrow the host country committee will be able to find a option, find a way of solving the issue. Possibly during that committee meeting tomorrow, we'll hear from the US delegation some compromise constructive proposals. At least we are expecting something positive from the US delegation that would enable us to deal with this problem. And not only for our committee, incidentally. So for this reason, if we all want to have consensus, and I do believe that it is possible for us to find and reach consensus, I would propose that we do not take a decision on this matter today, and we postpone our further discussions of this to a later date. And that be a time and date that the Bureau deems expedient and appropriate. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished representative of the Russian Federation for his statement.